Boss Rush 980 Day 5. So we got a great farm today. It's a traditional Garr Farm. And on top of that, we have Maestra as the second boss. So we have some additional options for whether you want to leave your party able to kill Maestra after Garr or just have those higher artillery strike odds. So the party I'm using here is a standard Garr Farm comp with Hooktusk, Malchezaar, and Medivh. Then you've got your 3 artillery strikes. These artillery strikes can be any mercenaries you want out of your artillery strike mercs. If you have low artillery strike, you might want to run triple greens here and use the Blade Flurry strategy to kill your own mercs, which I'll go over here in a minute. If you want to not wait on Blade Flurry and kill your own Medivh off, then you're going to need Gin in this slot, or Voon could do it as well, but Gin is usually the better choice for doing that. And then if you want the option to kill Maestra afterwards as well, then you're going to need to bring Rogers. So the comp here is going to be Hooktusk with Prop Knife, Malchezaar with 3 moves ahead, Medivh with Unstable Runes, and then if you're using Gin, I'm just running no equipment on him because we don't really want to heal ourselves, but you could run the healing equipment. You would just have to play around that and make sure you don't heal yourself when you're killing your own mercenaries. And then on Rogers, I'm using Ship Spell, and that's for the Maestra fight. You would need your Master Tactician at rank 17 with the Ship Spell to do enough damage to one-shot those cosplayer summons. So it's not a big investment to get that to rank 17. Also, this equipment is bugged and does not actually upgrade, so don't invest anything in the Ship Spell. It still operates as though it's rank 4 no matter how high you level this up. So any additional damage you get on your Master Tactician has to be on the ability itself. And then Voon, I've got Dragon Rune Axe, but he's just here for Artillery Strike. So I'm going to show the Blade Flurry strategy first, which is the first strategy we came up with for Garr, and in my opinion it's the best one. I think some people did the math, and the Blade Flurry strategy is supposed to be the fastest, but the problem is that on the turns that Blade Flurry can be cast, it's only a 50% chance that it can be cast. So there's a chance that you lose that flip repeatedly and have to keep rolling for Blade Flurry, and you can take a lot of turns to end up killing Garr. But on average, it should still be the fastest strategy for killing him. So Garr goes through a pattern of 3 abilities. He goes Rock Out, Scorch, Elemental Core, and then he just repeats that. So Rock Out, Scorch, Elemental Core. The Scorch, every Scorch after the first has a 50% chance to be a Blade Flurry instead. So if you're doing the Blade Flurry strategy, the goal here is we're just going to put a bleed on Garr on turn 1, and that's the only action you need to perform with the Hooktusk Cutthroat here. And then we just pass until Blade Flurry casts. So, as I was saying, it goes in a pattern, so that was the Rock Out. Now we have Scorch, and the first one is always a Scorch. And then we have Elemental Core, and then we have another Rock Out. And then now is the turn where it can be either Scorch or Blade Flurry. So we got a Scorch, so that was a whiff. We missed the 50-50. So you just pass 3 more times. So Scorch, Elemental Core, Rock Out, and then here's our another opportunity for a Blade Flurry, and we got it this time. So this one we missed once and then hit, and it's a 50-50 every time. So once you finally hit it, you do a Turnabout Strike, All Realities, and Self Counter. And then Hooktusk will make Garr blue. This All Realities will go off and reduce Garr to 5 HP on the Blade Flurry cast. And then this bleed will trigger at the end of the turn that we cast on turn 1, and that ends the fight. And now you're left with only your Artillery Strike mercs alive. So since we killed off all of our front line, we have to hit Artillery Strike here because we don't really have a team to fight Maestra. I missed, so this is a retired run. Now the other option is that you can kill your Medivh yourself and not wait on Blade Flurry. The runs, though, where you hit the Blade Flurry on that very first flip, they're extremely fast and very easy. And even if you have to pass the additional 3 turns even more than once, it doesn't take that long. But if you don't want to wait on that and you want to have the consistent same outcome every single time, you can just kill Medivh yourself. So the way that we do that is we use the same team here, but we want to bring Gin to clean him up. So we just Turnabout Strike, and then shoot your own Medivh on turn 1. With his Arcane Rift here. And then we bring Gin out. I like to scoot Malchezaar over, but you don't have to do that. And then on the Scorch turn, we just pass. We don't want to get our Arcane Ward killed. And then on this turn, we want to just shoot our Medivh here and cast our All Realities. Okay, and then here you have a decision to make. Do you want to keep Malchezaar alive and be able to kill Maestra as well? Or do you want to go ahead and kill Malchezaar off and rely on hitting Artillery Strike with those higher odds of only having Artillery Strike Mercs alive? So if you want to kill off your Malchezaar, you just kill off your Medivh with this Blistering Bullet. And obviously you need to have enough damage for that to happen. Otherwise you can pass additional turns and keep shooting your Medivh until you get him killed. But I'm using Blistering Bullet here to finish him, and then attacking with Party Crasher. And that will kill off both of them. If you want to keep your Malchezaar alive and fight Maestra, you would just kill off your Medivh and then finish Garr with the Check Your Weapons instead of the Party Crasher. So if you want Malchezaar to die, swing into Garr. If you want Malchezaar to live, just use Check Your Weapons. So I'm going to let Malchezaar live here. And then I'll show you how to fight Maestra as well. Now for the Maestra, if you decide to keep Malchezaar alive like this, you need to have your Rogers. So obviously this would be a win. I'm going to go ahead and take the wrong treasure here so I can demonstrate the Maestra fight, sacrificing my renown for you guys. So imagine that we just didn't hit Artillery Strike there. So for this fight you need Malchezaar, Gin, and Rogers, so we just place them out here. And this is an extremely simple fight. This is another very good farm fight, which is why it's viable to consider fighting Maestra if you want to. So turn 1, all you have to do is pass. And Maestra will always swing into one of these cosplayers. And then turn 2, you just have to check if there's an Assassin's Blade or a Wicked Stab. If it's Wicked Stab, all you have to do is Tactician this Vengeful Cosplayer here. This is why we needed the rank 17 Master Tactician, so that this one-shots this cosplayer and you don't have to worry about this hitting you. And then the other choice is, if there is an Assassin's Blade, you need to summon a Gin Taunt. If there's a Wicked Stab, you don't need to do that. So if Wicked Stab, just Tactician. If Assassin's Blade, Tactician plus summon a Taunt. And then on turn 3, all you have to do is cast All Realities. And Maestra will always swing into your Malchezaar here. And I think there's a chance that Maestra casts Wicked Stab that turn. If that happens, you just swing with Party Crasher from Malchezaar into Maestra the next turn, and that ends the fight instead. Okay, we still hit the Artillery Strike here, so that's a win. So you basically have two choices to make. Do you want to use the Blade Flurry strategy to kill off your whole front line and have those coin flips, which should be the fastest on average, or do you want to kill off your own Medivh every time? And then the second choice is you want to leave Malchezaar alive to potentially fight Maestra, or do you want to just rely on hitting that Artillery Strike every time and kill off your Malchezaar for better odds of that? So a couple different options, all very good farms. No matter what you pick, you're going to make a crazy amount of renown off this farm. This farm also does not care what your stats are, because all the damage comes from All Realities. So it doesn't really matter how advanced you are. All you need is the Artillery Strike damage. And if you have a lower Artillery Strike, you can run the Blade Flurry strategy and run 3 greens. That way you have a chance to hit only green Artillery Strikes, which would crit on Maestra. And then you also have the possibility of hitting multiple Artillery Strikes by the time you get to Coren or the final boss to have enough damage to kill the non-crit enemies. So very good farms, tons of renown. Make sure you get your runs in, because we don't get these super often, but this is one of the better ones. So good luck on your runs.